All right, welcome to Vincent Koo Live. This is Success Leaves Clues. What we're going to do here is go over what makes successful people successful. And instead of me sitting here and telling you, I thought it'd be better to just bring a successful person on and have them tell you the exact stories themselves, right? I think it'll be a lot easier for us to uncover these clues together than for us to figure them out for ourselves. So today's guest, we have Miss Lily Tran. Hey, Lily, how are you?
Hey, Vincent. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. For those of you that don't know, Lily has been in business for 20 years now, and she's named top 20 under 40. She was the #1 agent in her former franchise, Exit Realty, for the entire state of New York. It's a fantastic accomplishment, and very, very proud of her. And she worked with me at Exit Realty, but she's now my business partner over at eXp Realty, right?
Yeah.
So Lily, it didn't always start out that way, did it?
No, it didn't.
So I have something for you. I have a surprise for you. Let me try this to see.
Oh no.
So I get a kick out of this. I go into your office every once in a while.
I'm kind of scared to see what you have.
And I see this picture, and I always get a kick out of it. Ready? Take a look at that.
Oh my goodness. That's me and Vincent.
Yeah, tell me what that picture represents to you, Lily.
We were partners from the beginning.
Partners from the beginning. I don't know
how
bigger
than you.
You're still bigger. I don't remember how old we were, but you have this in your office, and I love seeing it. It just always puts a smile on my face. Right?
Yeah.
So we don't have to go back that far, but we're cousins, right? I guess that it posed its own set of challenges, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have plans of working together, right? It just happened.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people do know you, but for those listeners that don't, can you share with us a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure. I got into the business in the year 2000. I was only 20 years old, and we kind of got into it as if it was just a hobby. It wasn't something that I intentionally decided that, hey, real estate's going to be my career. It was more like, hey, let me give real estate a try. And I think our first year we did pretty well, right?
Yeah.
People were telling me, why are you gonna get a job in marketing with those crazy hours, and you're not gonna make any money. And our first year we did really well, and we were running around with so many buyers, right? Our calendar was packed.
And you say we, because we were partners pretty much from the beginning, right?
Yeah, from the beginning.
You came in and you really stepped up because we both came into the business because our parents were in the business, right?
Yeah.
Your mom was top agent in the office, and my parents owned the brokerage, and unfortunately my dad passed away, and that brought us both into the business.
We stepped in to help the family, and that's how we really got into it. But our first year, I think we realized we were making more than many of our friends, and it ended up being a great business because there was no ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I remember just really attacking and working as hard as we could. But what are some of the things that you learned along the way?
I think we were fearless, right? We didn't know what we didn't know, and we kind of just dived right in. What was the question again?
I wanted to know what you kind of learned along the way. What was your first few years like? I mean, I remember what it was like. I mean, you're right. We were running around. Who did we look up to? Who taught us?
Our parents taught us. We didn't have, a team to look up to. We didn't have the training that is available today. I mean, I think everyone's all webinared and zoomed out from being in this pandemic, because all of this training it's now on our fingertips, right? And we're able to access all this information. And those of you who are watching, I think everyone's looking for the same thing, is what's that secret, or what's that path for us to get to that goal? And, you know, you want to avoid the same mistakes that we've made, because we spent years and years making those mistakes, and we didn't realize we were making those mistakes. Because
what mistakes are you talking about specifically?
I think the very first mistake I made was not creating a book of business, not having that CRM, right? And it wasn't until like maybe 10 years into my career that I realized, hey, you know what? I should pay attention to my past clients and not be in this business year after year as if it was my first year, right? Year after year, we're like, okay, where's that next business coming from? And in today's industry, I feel like we need to create predictable business, right? We need to make sure that we have that funnel of sellers calling us or buyers calling us.
So Lily, 10 years in, you realize, hey, I should have had my book of business. What do? Do you go back to all the clients that you've worked with in the past and say, hey, you know, I'm sorry?
I should have, right? No, I didn't. I was embarrassed. I forgot about them. And, you know, it was a costly mistake, because we are starting from scratch and we're building that new book of business. I attempted to. I created like this simple Excel sheet and started gathering all that information, and it was so tedious. But, you know, now you join brokerages and that's like the first thing that's given to you, right? You get a free CRM, you get access to all the training and all the tools. I feel like new agents today are given everything. And by getting all that information, it just makes it so much easier. But, right, you know, statistically, 95% of business is still done by 5% of the agents. And I think everyone's given all of this information, but they don't know how to implement, maybe. They don't know how to create that business. Find their niche.
What was the point, Lily, that you decided or you realized that, hey, I might not be doing it the best way, and there could be you know, better ways to do it out there?
I figured it out by finding other teams and other people who are doing it the right way. I wanted to get to that level, but I didn't know how. And we weren't taught how. So we had to seek that information ourselves. I found teams that were doing so much more than me, and I wanted to learn from them. But everyone at that time, everyone's like a closed book, right? Nobody wanted to share.
I remember a pivot point in your career. I thought it was, you tell me if I'm right. There was a time when I said, Lily, I need you to do something for me. I need you to get in front of the group and teach them how to sell real estate.
I hated that, right?
Remember that?
So, yeah, I remember that. I am a SI personality, and so those of you who know DISC, S is more reserved, right? We're not really into being in front of the public and speaking, and you wanted me to train. Like, how am I going to train? I don't want to train. I don't want to speak to these agents. And why would they even listen to me, right? But I think the training is what made me a better agent. Repeatedly, like going over the scripts and telling agents what to do, you yourself, you become a better agent. You become a better producer, because you are practicing everything that needs to be done when you're teaching.
Yeah, I remember that being really huge. And if I could pinpoint the moment that you really leveled up in your business, is when you were given that space to do so. When you were told, hey, it's your position to really lead the rest of the group, and you really had to level up, right? And you might not have wanted to, but you did. So
I did it, and it helped me grow. And I see that happening right now with my team, right? I see, I mean, my best hire, you know, is Cindy, and she was so reserved. And, you know, now she's the director of operations on our team. And, you know, she's in front of the team today we had a team meeting and she's in front of the team running the meeting. But I think making yourself uncomfortable, getting yourself to teach, right, or train agents that might be new, that's going to get you to that next level. Right. And I think that's what's amazing about our brokerage right now, because there's so many top teams just giving back. And just last week, I mean, I absorbed so much information. I had my team break up because there were so many breakout sessions. I'm like, you go learn, and I'm going to go learn, and we're going to come back and we're going to see what cool stuff we can implement.
Divide and conquer, right?
Divide and conquer. But everyone was an open book. It wasn't as if, when we started 20 years ago, everything was a secret. Nobody wanted to teach.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wanted to share anything. But you see this industry shifting to teams and everyone just growing together and just passing down wisdom, because they know that if they teach, if they pass down that information, everyone grows. The team grows, right?
So,
I become more successful. They become more successful.
Lily, speaking about teams, you mentioned that you made a couple of, I guess maybe the wrong moves in the beginning while building your team.
Yeah. Again, nobody taught us, right? So I'm growing at such a fast pace, and immediately I'm like thinking, hey, I need a buyer agent, right? But I believe your first hire should be an assistant. So after going to 2 buyer agents, I stepped back and then took on an assistant first. And then I grew to a level where I got a buyer's agent. And, since joining our new brokerage, we're now a team of 9. And we do it at such a fast pace.
Yeah. So how long did you work with just an assistant?
Oh, I don't even know. I think it was probably 2 years, 3 years. And then we reached a ceiling too, where, I had to tell her, hey, tell me, are you overwhelmed? Do we need to bring on another person? Do we need to bring on another assistant? Do we need to bring on a buyer's agent, right? Because her opinion matters, right? We want to make sure that everyone is comfortable growing at the pace that we were growing.
So, yeah, I remember you doing very well as an individual agent. I remember you doing well as an individual agent with an assistant. And for a time being, I thought that you were going to stay that way for a bit, right?
I got comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you were just comfortable, because you were kind of always competing with yourself. I always saw that you wanted to do better than you did last year, better than you did.
And I've been secretly competing with other people ahead of me too.
Yeah. I think it's hard to be a top producer that's not competitive.
Right? Yeah, I mean, healthy competition, of course.
Right. But what made you decide to actually form a team instead of just keep going at yourself, by yourself, with an assistant?
It got to the point where I believe the team approach would have benefited everybody, because agents were coming to me regardless, right? And they were coming to me asking me, hey, can I advertise your listing? Hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? But I wasn't reaping the benefits of it. I wasn't the broker owner. So why am I going to give back? Why am I taking the time to give back, and grow their business? I'd rather grow everyone's business together. And I felt like that was the better approach. And, there's no more animosity. The team leaders will open their books because of that, right? Everyone has a reason to make sure that everybody is succeeding.
Right. And what was it about your new brokerage? I think that's when you really started to build your team, right?
I mean, that's definitely an attractive incentive, right? You want that revenue share. You want that passive income. You want to be able to, if I get to a certain point where I no longer want to list eventually, right? I want to be able to manage the team. I'll be able to pass all of that information down, step back, and still have that revenue coming in, right? I'm now building essentially my brokerage inside this brokerage without much overhead.
Interesting.
It just made sense. It just
Yeah.
made a lot more sense.
Yeah, I heard somebody say that there's some people out there that are just selling too much real estate that might not need to go out there and do 100 deals in the next year. That could, maybe have a better lifestyle if they did 80 deals instead of 100 deals.
I
Right.
completely agree in work-life balance, right? And then I think you were pushing me at some point, and I'm like, I'm comfortable. No, I'm comfortable. I don't want to grow.
Yeah. I was pushing your production. I said, hey, listen, I need you to hit these numbers.
Yeah.
But I watch you. I see your kids, and I always see you, creating these magical moments for them, and I see how important that is for you to do. But how do you find that balance when you're, producing at such a high level, and that does need your attention?
You have to let go. You have to let go. You need to have that work-life balance. You have to plug in family time, or you're gonna get burnt out, or you're gonna get a divorce. You're not gonna have a happy family. You're not gonna have happy kids. And being able to leverage the team and scale, I think that is what has given us the ability to create that work-life balance.
Okay.
Right? I tell that to my team too, right? You need to make sure that you're getting your family time in. Make sure you get those vacations in. Every time my Cindy wants to take a vacation, I'm like, yeah, of course, go ahead, right? And this is a people business. You got to make sure that everyone is comfortable, everyone is happy.
So when we're looking at your schedule now, what does that look like?
I'm more of a seller's agent, right? So I'm out there getting listings, and even during this pandemic, I think we're going to talk about creating predictable business, right? Even during this pandemic, I'm in front of sellers that reach out, and we're doing conference calls and some Zoom calls, and listed properties without even seeing the property, without even meeting the owner, and no fighting on that full standard commission, no fighting on the price, getting it priced well. I think just being able to get to that point is critical.
So what will it take for the agents to get to that point? How do they fast track that, Lily?
Yeah. So, I mean, we want to be able to avoid the mistakes, right? And if we're able to somehow avoid the mistakes and get to the level where all of the right things are done and it compounds, we're able to create that predictable business by having sellers call us, right? And we all know what that predictable, like, I guess, techniques are, right? Prospecting could be one of them. But you kind of have to think outside of the box of, just calling or practicing your scripts and door knocking, or finding listings the old school way, right? Telling a story. And I've had my agents do that, where they tell a story in a letter of the buyer, and I have the buyer, and they're looking in this neighborhood, and they want this specific school district. And so instead of like the superficial approach of, hey, I have a buyer, can I come in? It's more, hey, I have this great family and with a 2-year-old, and they're specifically looking for this neighborhood. Have you considered selling? Maybe sending out letters, and having sellers contact you because you have that approachable story. Right? So being able to prospect in a different way, being able to be more human when you're doing your scripts, right? So when I was training, a lot of the agents were like, well, Lily, how does it come out so naturally? Or I was not natural in the beginning. You need to be, you need to practice it. You need to be able to, know how to respond or handle an objection that's given to you, right? And I think a lot of the training we learned in terms of DISC profile, in terms of emotional intelligence. I think a lot of you guys really should learn a lot on EQ, and how to deal with buyers and how to deal with sellers the right way, right? That in itself will help you with prospecting, right? Not everyone likes to be sold the same way. And being in the people business, you have to be more emotional. You have to be empathetic but assertive, right? You have to be optimistic. You have to make sure that you are aware of who you are and who they are and how you should approach them. Are they impulsive? Are they not impulsive? Are they more reserved? Are they gonna, act quickly? Prospecting and throwing
How do
that.
you teach that to your team?
Huh?
How do you teach, the emotional intelligence and how to read?
I mean, there are books on it, right? And then Tony Robbins, I had my team take the Tony Robbins disc profile, and you guys can all do that. It's free, right? And you should know who your team members are. You should know who you're dealing with, right? Certain buyers, certain agents work better with certain buyers, and vice versa, right? Another way to create predictable business is reviews. So I've had clients in the past write me reviews, and there's a lot of sites that you can post your reviews. It shouldn't just be Zillow. You can create a business page on Yelp. You can create a Google business page. You should also post recommendations on Realtor.com, right? When an owner or a buyer is Googling you, what are they finding? Right, you want to be able to be that agent. And I think many of you are thinking, well, I'm not showing up in the search engine and it's too late to start. It's never too late to start, right? You got to start building it now. I think my husband, who's not even, in marketing, he told me years ago, hey, you got to get reviews. And he actually started me on Google AdWords. That's another way. And we're still paying for Google AdWords right now. Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things that I noticed, let's say outside looking in, Lily, is that you have this amazing way of creating raving fans, right? So first off, what does that term raving fan mean to you?
Someone who's willing to refer you to all their friends and family consistently, right? And they think of you first when they hear a family or friend is looking to move, right? And
Okay.
I think making sure it's more personal than just the transaction is key, right? We're always in front of the client. You got to make sure you have the right systems. You have to make sure you have the right processes to make sure that everyone is getting updates, right? I mean, we can go into another segment of our systems, what we use on the back end, right? How our team functions, but that's completely different.
I've seen situations where in a group somebody says, "Hey, I'm looking for an agent to represent me in the sale of my property," and all of a sudden the page would explode with, you need to work with Lily Tran.
Yeah.
You need to work with Lily Tran. I second that. I third that. I fifth that.
Social media. If you guys are not on social media, I've gotten listings off social media, and it's Facebook groups, Instagram, but you thank them. Everyone that refers you, throws your name out there, you owe them a personal phone call or some type of thank you, because they're your raving fans. And I think you talked about creating your dirty dozen, right? And making sure that you're always in front of them. I have vendors also that we keep in contact with, and we trade referrals all the time. And that's the only way that you should be building business, because again, it's all a people business.
But how do you train them to do just that? Right? I mean, was it something that you say, hey, when you see somebody out there, mention my name?
No, you create experience. You give them a good enough experience, and they will be your raving fan. And once they start raving and you can continue to thank them for it, they'll continue doing it. Right. We know who our raving fans are, and we're so thankful for them.
Do you, I've seen a lot of agents that really work on very strict schedules. Do you have like a perfect schedule that you try
I don't have a perfect schedule. What the team is going to start implementing is the 100-point day. And that was another amazing tip that was given to us by our new brokerage, one of the team leaders, Mark Patterson. And, it's just about gamifying your day, right? And we talked about this during our meeting. And it could be, a lot of it is focused on contacts, right? Like, make that contact, do something on social media. But it also goes outside of your business. It's like, hey, did you get your fitness or exercise in today? That's 10 points. And did you do this? Did you do that? But what it does is, if you're not good with keeping a schedule, maybe just that simple 100-point day checklist, just to make sure you reach that 100-point every day, that really gamifies your day. And we're gonna, the team needs that, and we're gonna start implementing that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And Lily, another thing that you and I have been doing for 3 years up until gyms have been closed down was our 4:30 crew.
Yeah.
Tell us how that started.
That started by you making me join your 4:30 crew, which I thought was insane. So we would have to wake up at 4 a.m. just to make sure that we get into the gym by 4:30 to take our accountability photo, right, for Instagram, to make sure that we all get our workout in. And we get it done early in the morning so that there's no excuse, right? You leave for later on, it's like things happen, and then it's, I can't do this because I got to pick up the kids, or I got to do this. I can't do it because, hey, I have an appointment now. But we get it done early in the morning when there's no excuses.
Those are great days, right? Just getting our workouts in, and being together, and and then pushing each other. Making sure nobody misses the classes, and keeping each other accountable. I love that.
You guys got to find an accountability partner, someone who calls you out and makes you step up your game.
So you talked about, just kind of being this uncomfortable, like being, teaching and whatnot. What's the latest thing that you've done, Lily, that, for your business that's made you uncomfortable?
I don't really think I get uncomfortable anymore. Maybe this Facebook Live is is what's making me a little. I mean, I'm fine with it.
You're a natural. You're talking to me.
I've gone to the point where, maybe 10 years ago, I would have been having a mini anxiety attack because I had to go on live. But you grow from it, and you got to put yourself in uncomfortable positions in order to grow, right? Wow. If something makes you uncomfortable, just do it.
Lily, you're an Icon agent. Tell us what that means.
It's amazing. So I was with my previous brokerage, for 14 years. And I think I came to you a few times, and I was like, this isn't going to work. I don't know, because
I know. Oh my
there's
God.
better systems out there. There's better formulas out there. The top agents are going to leave.
Can you imagine that, having your cousin come to you and saying, listen, I don't know if I want to stay here? That's not really what you said. What you said was, Vincent, if we weren't family,
I'd be gone.
Yeah, I wouldn't be working for you.
I said that.
Not that I wouldn't be working for you, but I wouldn't.
I would have been gone a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And that must have been a hard thing to do. I mean, it was hard for me to listen to.
I mean, I just feel like there was just better tools, better systems, especially for top agents, and even newer agents, because you need that leadership. You need that team leader that's going to help you grow, that has systems in place, that has processes, so that they're able to scale. And I don't think I was able to scale with the previous brokerage because I didn't believe in it. Like, numbers just didn't make sense for me, right? So I don't know. It was just, being an icon is just amazing because.
What does it mean to be an icon?
My hard-earned money is, I have a chance to now get that what I pay out to the brokerage back, right? And being at that upper level, I mean, you're able to first get your cat back, but the company makes you work for it, which I think is amazing, right? And they're so smart because they say, hey, if you go to the shareholder summit is going to be so much better. And because it's going to be better, we're going to give you $2,000 back. Or when you go to the convention, we want you there because we know if you're there, you know, you're going to be able to teach, or you'll be able to be on a panel. And because of that, here's another 2,000 back. Right. So they make it an incentive for these top agents to give back. And we're no longer a closed book. Everyone is sharing. Everyone is growing together. Right.
So you have the opportunity to get back all the money that you paid into your brokerage. And we have an opportunity to listen to you tell us about, you know, what it takes to be successful, right?
Yeah. I mean, you guys could call me even when this is over and I will share.
Yeah.
Right? There's no more, hey, I'm not sharing with any of you my secrets anymore.
Right. You're actually going to be on a panel later on this week with other Icon agents, correct?
Yeah, Thursday at 2. I'm going to be on the panel.
Excellent.
And that's a way to give back again, right? And EXP makes you give back. They want the top people who are doing it to teach and give back.
All right. So, you know, after, I guess we covered a good amount, and after all said and done, you know, we kind of have your story, and there's a lot more, and I always invite people to reach out to you, and you invite them to reach out to you as well, right? What is one success clue that you'd leave our audience today?
I think you got to reach out to the top people, the ones that are willing to share, right? When you're not making those mistakes, then you start seeing the growth compound. You see your growth compounding, and you see your growth accelerate, and you see the difference it makes when you could avoid all the mistakes that were done before. And I think that was the issue with us, both of us, right? It took us a lot longer to get to where we are because we made those mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes, but I'm happy where we are now, right? I want to get to that level. There's so many top teams that I was able to learn from this past week. And
what is the next level for you, Lily?
The next level for me, I want to grow the team. You know, and it not to a huge amount. I want to grow it to a point where everyone is working harmoniously together and everyone is productive and they are doing the activities that's going to help them grow, right? I don't know. I want to get to a point where everyone is just comfortable and happy. I don't like to see agents struggling. Right. And if I could get them to that level, then it just makes it so much more worth it.
I love it. So you guys just listened to Vincent Koo Live, Success Leaves Clues. And until next time, jump into my calendar, visit vincentkoo.com. You know, find out what it's like to partner with us and get access to 18 hours of training. You know, we'd love to hear from you guys. And Lily, I appreciate you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I love watching your success.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon.